Sam, how much attention is this case receiving?
Well, I mean, if you look at the country's national broadcast media today, this really is the top story. ENCA, for example, that's one of the major channels here. They're streaming the trial live to thousands of people through their YouTube page. SABC, the South African Broadcasting Corporation, they're also covering this heavily. However, looked at some of the papers this morning. This wasn't always front page news, but we have seen images from outside the courtroom in Pietermaritzburg where I mean, there are the Zuma supporters are really kind of out in force. But what you need to remember, Delano, is that this case and the events being discussed in this case date all the way back to 1999 to that €3 billion arms deal signed between the French company Thales and the South African government. As you mentioned right at the beginning of this program, Jacob Zuma at the time, he was deputy president. And this deal, which was signed, is shrouded in allegations of corruption. So that's what we're discussing. We are now decades on from that, which is why perhaps some of the national newspapers weren't covering this today. Important thing to note, both Mr. Zuma and Thales have pleaded not guilty today, although Mr. Zuma is calling for the chief prosecutor on the case to be recused, essentially to be removed from proceedings.
And on what grounds is he doing this?
Well, his legal team have argued that that Billy Downer, that's the name of the state prosecutor, filed an affidavit back in 2014 in a case that was launched by the DA, which is a South African opposition party, which was related again to allegations of corruption against Jacob Zuma. Now, what this means is that they're essentially arguing that that Billy Downer, the chief prosecutor, is politically aligned and is therefore not independent enough, not impartial enough to play such an important role in this case. They also accuse Mr. Downer of meeting with South African investigative journalists, giving them details of the case and hinting essentially that the prosecution was going for a bit of a trial by media, if you like. So that was the argument of Zuma's legal team. However, most analysts that you would speak with would say this is simply another delaying tactic from South Africa's former president.
Sam, thank you very much. Sam Bradpiece reporting there for us from Cape Town.